Warning. The following video contains gruesome imagery. It's a horror film, isn't it? Slasher movie. So yeah, a bit of gruesomeness and spoilers now, because come on, it's 40-year-old this film. If you ain't seen it, you can't moan. No lewd themes for those of you who are so inclined. So yeah, dirty buggers. One, two, 3, 4, oh! Hey up, Ravers! I'm just here at my new part-time job as caretaker at this American high school. I don't really know why I'm here, but yeah. Anyway, it's time for our Halloween rating request. Yeah, the good folks over on Patreon put their suggestions and they went on the rotating review randomizer and it selected A Nightmare on Elm Street. Okie do. Now, I have to confess, I do not have the strongest constitution when it comes to horror films, so I'm mindful that this were probably going to give me the willies. But the first thing we see is somebody doing some DIY, making the send some gloves, presumably for nose picking, just to make sure you can get them hard to reach crows right at the back of your nostril. And then we see a young lady running around what looks like some sort of sinister looking boiler room in just a nightie. Now, I think this was made in the mid-80s, this film, because I reckon had it been more recent, she'd probably been in her underpants, something like that. You know, just make it more gratuitous. But, yeah, she's in a nightie here. And she appears to be getting stalked by this bogeyman. Presumably that's why he needed the nose-picking glove. And just when you think he's got her, she wakes up. It's all a dream. Or is it? Because the nose-picking glove appears to have sliced straight through her nightie. And notice how she doesn't get any sympathy whatsoever from her mum.
You gotta cut your fingernails, you gotta stop that kind of dreaming.
That's harsh, isn't it? You can't control what you dream.
Watch out, he's got the pastry. He's got the pastry.
And he rode with any of these kids singing a sinister nursery rhyme. Yeah, something very sinister about that, isn't there? Reminded me of the Ickle Girls out of The Shining. Oh, no! Get rid of them. That really does give me the willies, that film. Bloody hell. Yeah. And he rode the young lady who were running around in the nightie. We get to see her and her mates heading to school. One of the mates is a young Johnny Depp. Of course, he also played a character with nose-picking gloves, didn't he? Yeah. Edward Nose-Picking Glove Hands. Or something like that. Now, it turns out that all of these teenagers have been having the same dream about this bogeyman with the nose-picking hands.
Nancy, you dreamed about the same creep I did.
That's impossible.
But it ain't impossible, au contraire. And the lass in the torn nightie, she dreams about him again that night. And she's got no trousers on this time. Yeah, that's probably more like the level of gratuity that I were expecting from a teenage slasher movie. She ain't got any shoes on either, but it's going to be very uncomfortable walking on that pavement. But there's all sorts of shit on that. Now, when we see the bogeyman here, for some reason his arms go dead long. So I'll be honest, I didn't find this particularly scary. It just looked a bit daft. It looked like the chap off Monty Python.
And it went wherever I did go.
I mean, that is the stuff of nightmares right there, isn't it? What sort of twisted mind came up with that? And things start to get very problematic when it turns out that the bogeyman, Freddy Krueger, actually murders people in the dreams. And if you're murdered in your dream, you're murdered in real life. You know, you're gone. You know, you're done for. Very effective and gruesome scene, this. Apologies if you're a bit squeamish, but yeah. She starts spinning around in the air. And then ends up sliding around on the ceiling. Very Lionel Richie-esque. I presume they did it the same way. I presume they used the same technique to do it. In fact, Lionel Richie's shirt is almost as red as hers, by the time the bogeyman has finished with her. Now, after killing the trouserless nightie wearer, Freddy Krueger turns his attention to the other teenagers, who are all dreaming about him and all. But most of our focus as the audience goes on the main character, Nancy, who's so knackered after the traumatic death of her trouserless mate that she falls asleep in class at school and then starts to have nightmares with some gruesome imagery, including seeing her dead mate zipped up in a body bag, and the horrible Freddy Krueger, who starts chasing her about the place with his nose-picking glove. And after one too many of these horrible nightmares, she decides she needs to stay awake. If only there were some sort of tablets that could help her stay awake. Oh yeah, stay awake tablets. Oh, that's convenient, isn't it? Now, she's doing her damnedest to stay awake, but obviously that can only work for so long, can't it? You know, when you need a kip, you need a kip. So she tries to get her boyfriend, Johnny Depp, to wake her up if she looks like she's having a nightmare. But that useless oaf, he can't stay awake either. Now, obviously we get loads of dream sequences in this film. And I think there's some very inventive stuff in there. And there's also a lot of stuff that I think is quite realistic in terms of your dreams. For example, you'll start dreaming about one person and then they turn into somebody else. Or you try to do something and you get thwarted. Like Nancy here trying to escape from Freddy. She's running up the stairs, but then they crumble away and turn to marshmallow. Same sort of texture as a wagon wheel, that, isn't it? Because you've got the rigid exterior of the stairs, and then when you penetrate that layer, you're into the marshmallow. I ain't had a wagon wheel for years. Used to love wagon wheels, they were great. Do they still do them?
It's so big you gotta grin to get it in.
Yeah, they were pretty big, weren't they? You got your money's worth with a wagon wheel, didn't you? Oh, you know what? I fancy a wagon wheel. I'm going to see if they still do them. But yeah, I think the dreaming in this, I think it's quite accurate. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying every dream's a horrible nightmare, but just the way she can't really do what she wants to do in the dream. She keeps getting annoyed. Very realistic, I think. Yeah, I often have dreams like that, where you're about to do something fun, but then you get distracted and sidetracked from doing the fun thing you were going to do. And the fates conspire against you to stop you from doing it. And then you're about to do it again and then something else distracts you. And it happens again. And you just keep getting thwarted from doing the fun thing that you wanted to do. And my dream is very frustrating and draining. I don't know what part of my subconscious that is that wants to sabotage me, son. But yeah, I just find myself waking up feeling thoroughly drained and annoyed. Now, this is one of them films where they have infuriating adults who don't listen to kids. They don't believe them when they try to tell them that their dreams are being haunted by this bogeyman with a nose-picking glove.
Help! Where are you? Everything's gonna be all right. Everything's under control.
Get my back, you asshole!
Well, it's understandable, you know, it's ludicrous premise, isn't it? You know, you wouldn't expect any adults to go, oh yeah, well, that's obviously what's happening. They're going to think the kids are mentally ill. And Nancy can't even get her alcoholic mum to believe her either. Not even after she's taken her to a sleep research institute. And Nancy predictably has another nightmare, but she's so traumatised it's turned her hair grey and she's had her arm slashed to bits by Freddy's nose-picking glove. And grabs Freddy Krueger's hat out at Dream. I mean, surely that's enough evidence, isn't it? Where did they think the hat came from? She ain't Paul Daniels, she ain't just magicked it out of nowhere. Good scene this, to be fair. Builds the tension nicely. I think any films where you got meter readings that go loopy, it's always an entertaining scene, isn't it? Now Nancy confronts her mum about the hat to try and find out who this Freddy Krueger bloke is.
Give me that damn thing. It even has his name written in it. Fred Krueger, Mom. Fred Krueger.
Sensible practice that, isn't it? And just in case you lose it. He'll be able to find that in lost property now, won't he? Anyway, yeah, her mum confesses that she knows the name Freddy Krueger.
He was a filthy child murderer who killed at least 20 kids in the neighborhood.
Oh, nasty. Well, hopefully the authorities locked him up and threw away the key.
Somebody forgot to sign the search warrant in the right place and Krueger was free just like that.
Oh dear. Yeah, this led to some vigilante action from the kids' parents who decided to take the law into their own hands and burn him alive, as you do. And all that's left of him was horrible nose-picking glove. And of course the folk who burnt him, they're the parents of all the teenagers who were dreaming about him. So Freddy's getting his revenge. Incidentally, maybe it's just me, but she really reminds me of Katrina from Katrina and the Waves. Yeah, they won Eurovision that time, didn't they? And they'd Walking on Sunshine and all, didn't they? I bet they got some royalties out of that one. Now, I presume this is supposed to be some sort of joke by the director of the video, but she's singing about Walking on Sunshine in what might be the greyest, most miserable pop video I've ever seen. Never seen the video before, but bloody hell, looks a bit grim there, doesn't it? I think I'll stick to Elm Street, thank you. Any road, Freddy murders a few more of the teenagers in some gruesomely inventive ways. Johnny Depp looks like he gets put through a blender. I think that's a clever effect, that. I reckon they've just filmed that upside down and they've just poured a bucket of tomato juice straight out of the bed. But it looks like it's gushing upwards. Very clever, isn't it? Better a bugger to clean up, though. Now, given that Nancy's been able to pull Freddy's act out of the dream and into reality, she has this ingenious idea of grabbing him and dragging him into reality so she can then bump him off. And it all goes a bit A-team here, where she starts making some booby traps around the house. In fact, I've got to say, the scene does work loads better with some Mike Post A-team montage music accompanying it. Now, Nancy's plan is that once she's dragged Freddy into reality, she needs help from her dad, the police chief, to do him in. And her dad is played by John Saxon. Very reassuring presence in this movie, John Saxon. You feel safe whenever he's on screen. But I can't mention John Saxon without us having another edition of Wig Watch. Now, John Saxon's been in plenty of stuff over the years. I remember seeing him in a film called War Hunt with a young Robert Redford, and his hair looked a bit odd then. A couple bit suspect there, I think, and that's early 60s, I reckon. Then we saw him in Enter the Dragon, didn't we, with Bruce Lee. Here we see him gambling with Kung Fu Blakey. But yeah, he's got very suspicious looking hair in this. I mean, that is surely a wig, ain't it? It looks very unnatural. I remember him scrapping with Lee Majors in The $6 Million Man, and his hair was acting very suspiciously in that. Apart from that wispy bit at the front, the rest of it does look glued down. But this is bizarre. I'm not going to lie to you, it's just bizarre. It doesn't move anywhere and it doesn't look natural at all. This has got to be a wig. It's got to be, ain't it? It's just a bizarre thing on his head. It's just the hairline, the thickness just looks very unnatural. Everything about it is wrong. So I'm happy to stand corrected if anybody's got any evidence that they can support this ain't a wig. But blooming heck, it looks like a wig, doesn't it? Or again, a hair helmet. There's not much movement going on there, is there? No. Any road, after Nancy successfully drags Freddy into reality and he comes a cropper on all her booby traps, the film's internal logic about what is and what isn't a dream seems to get very confused. I think the rules have gone out the window, but who cares? You know, it is what it is. Now, Freddy seemingly gets his comeuppance by being burnt alive, but not before he takes Nancy's mum with him. And after the obligatory last-minute final scare comeback, he seemingly vanishes for good. And the clock is magically reset, and everybody's alive again. Hurrah! But hang on, is this a dream? And the car hood flips over to reveal Freddy's stripy jumper colour scheme, and it locks all the kids in the car, and it drives off to the sound of the kids singing the sinister nursery rhyme. And that would have been a chilling end to the film if it weren't for this bit. I think it's fair to say that that is objectively shit. Okie-do, on to Ray's ratings. Well, yeah, I weren't expecting a lot from this, and I thought it'd give me the willies. But teen horror films ain't really my thing, so weren't expecting any more than a 2-star film. But you know what? I thought it were alright. It were scary in places. It did give me the willies a bit. And they had some clever set pieces that ramped up the tension. I thought the idea of a bogeyman who haunts your dreams, yeah, I thought that was quite clever. Although they did seem to play fast and loose with the rules surrounding the dreams and when Freddy could appear or not. But yeah, I thought it were alright, rackled along at a cracking pace, didn't get bored. And yeah, I enjoyed it. So I'm rating A Nightmare on Elm Street a 3.5 star, 2-star film. Yeah, bloody hell, look at that. I've just mopped round here and somebody's left a corpse and dripped blood all over the floor. Bloody students. Oh, I can't be doing it. Oh, it's going to take me ages. This is going to take me bloody ages to clean this up. I've already done it. Oh my God, why am I even doing this job? I don't understand it. I thought I were retired. Mopping. Yeah. Hey. Oh, that's a relief. Oh, I don't want to get back into the world of work. Done my bit. I feel like I've done a whole shift at work after that. I woke up knackered. I need to refuel. Hey, you know what I'm going to have? Not had one in years. A wagon wheel. Yes, I'm having that. I remember him being bigger than this. Oh well. I remember him being nicer than this. Well, I hope you enjoyed my review of A Nightmare on Elm Street, ravers. And if you did, poke the old like button for me. Give us a good old poke. Maybe a very precise poke with your nose-picking gloves, like Freddy Krueger would do. Actually, it wouldn't be precise, would he? Just slash the keyboard to bugger it, wouldn't he? And remember to share our reviews with your mates and subscribe if you ain't already a subscriber. Very much appreciated. As are all them wonderful comments you lot keep popping on. Thank you so much for those. Make me day reading them. Apologies if I don't get around to responding to them all, but thank you very much for those. And why not come and join me on Patreon? Support the channel that way and become a patron or a nickel patron, and you can submit your requests for consideration. We get up to other shits and giggles on there and all, so yeah, come and join me over there. I'll pop a link in the description below. And copyright box permitting, I will be back with another review for you very soon. So I will see you next time. Okie doo!